Hi guys, it's Brittany with Eating Elephants, and today I'm going to talk about my second trimester. And yes, same shirt. I'm shooting two videos in one sitting. So I am at the end of week 27, which actually is week 28. I will be 28 weeks pregnant here in a couple of days, and I wanted to go back in retrospect and look through my second trimester. Some people say 28 weeks is the third trimester. Some people say 29. I've even seen sites say 27. Whatever. Either way, I'm knocking at the door of the third trimester. So this video may seem a little bit pessimistic, but it's mostly going to be the negative symptoms that I've had. But don't get me wrong, I am still so grateful to be pregnant. The second trimester was easier than the first, but it still wasn't a walk in the park for me. So firstly, continued weight loss. If you didn't watch the video I shot before this one about if pregnancy has cured my PCOS or not, you should really go watch that. But yes, I have had weight loss this entire pregnancy up until now. I've lost about 34 pounds-ish, maybe a little more. Finally, no more hiccups and burps. So, towards the beginning of the second trimester and in my first trimester, I'd be shooting and then I'd go kind of and stuff like that. No more. It's finally gone. It lasted so long and it was so annoying, and I couldn't even get 3 words out without it happening. So yeah, I'm really glad that's over with. But actually, sometimes I pray for burps, because when I have really, really bad heartburn, a burp will kind of neutralize it a little bit, if that makes sense. So, and that's my my next symptom: heartburn. Extreme, severe heartburn, to the point where my stomach is just, the top of my stomach is just burning. Like, even my stomach, I know heartburn happens all up here, acid reflux, but it would be all the way down to the top of my belly. It's awful, absolutely awful, and there is absolutely nothing I can do for it. I take Tums sometimes, but you're not supposed to take very much when you're pregnant. Sometimes I'll get me a good glug of milk, but really it doesn't matter. It's just, there's nothing I can do. I am uncomfortable in bed at night, and there's really nothing I can do for that either. I won a Boppy pregnancy pillow, the kind that's in 3 parts, and it sucks. It absolutely sucks. I have the part that goes under your belly right here, and this is it. This thin piece of pillow is what's supposed to support your belly. It doesn't. It doesn't at all. There is no cushion on this. And the part of the pillow that I still use, I don't really use this part, and I don't really use the leg part. I use the top part, and the part that I have been using, the filling is completely like ripped to shreds in there, to the point where it's not even soft anymore. It's just an awful pillow. Don't buy it. Get a Snoogle or something else that has actual good reviews, because I've actually not seen a good review for this pillow that seemed legitimate. So do not get the Boppy. And maybe it's because I'm a bigger woman, I don't know, maybe it would work for a smaller woman, but this pillow sucks for me. Sometimes when my husband's home, I can kind of cuddle up with him a little bit, and it'll help, but we're not cuddlers. We get sweaty and hot, so we are definitely hug to fall asleep and then roll over and go our separate ways in the night. So yeah, even that, it's not gonna work for a full night's sleep. I'm sleeping okay, but I'm not comfortable at all. Nausea and vomiting kind of semi-frequently, way less often than in the first trimester, but still a few times a week I puke. Sometimes just maybe once a week, sometimes a few times a week. It's usually just I'll eat something and it'll come back up. Or I'll wake up in the morning, wait too long to eat, and I'll puke stomach acid and, things of that nature. Speaking of eating, some days I have no appetite. Some days I am just ravenous and I cannot be satiated. Like some days I can wake up in the morning and literally the only way I remember that I need to eat something is that I get really nauseous and throw up. So I'm like, oh yeah, I should really eat something. Speaking of the last symptom, which was nausea and vomiting, I still sometimes can't brush my teeth as thoroughly as I want because it's making me gag. Still, so it's not every morning like it was in the first trimester, but it still happens for sure. But back to the appetite thing, yeah. It's either really no appetite or I'm ravenous. And even on the days that I really don't have an appetite, I can still eat. You know, I still have things that I want, things that sound good, and I can still eat. It's fine. It's not like the first trimester where I didn't want anything. But then other days I'm like ravenous and it doesn't matter what it is. I just want it in my belly. I have started having Brexton Hicks contractions, but only when I am like overly active. Like if I go for a really long walk and walk a few miles, like they'll stop me. Like I'll start to get the contractions, and that's my cue to stop. I don't want to overdo it. Or if I'm cleaning up and I clean for a long time and I get tired. Cleaning makes me tired. It even makes me tired when I'm not pregnant. So yeah, I'll start to have those contractions, and you know, it's just when I'm very active. It's not just like when I'm sitting doing nothing. The most annoying and inconvenient of all of my symptoms is an extremely weak bladder. It started off innocent enough at the beginning of the second trimester where I just kind of pee a little if I sneeze, or if I laugh too hard, or when I am heaving to vomit. It'll kind of push things out, but just a little bit, you know, where you just kind of peed a little, you just kind of tinkled. But it has slowly progressed to the point where a sneeze or a cough will literally just make me completely piss myself. Like my bladder will empty itself because of a sneeze or a cough or me vomiting. And actually, funny story, I think we're gonna get a postpartum doula to help me after my home birth. And I was on my way to the consultation with these doulas, and I threw up and all in the car, and all I had to throw up in was a grocery bag with holes in it. So I threw up in the grocery bag, but of course the vomit is coming out of the holes. It kept a lot of it in the bag, but of course it was coming out of the holes and onto my pants, onto my legs and my shirt. And also the force of me heaving forced me to wet myself, and that's the first time that I just completely wet myself. Like it wasn't even just that I peed a little, I completely peed all over the seat of my car. And so I have to run. I called the doula, let her know what happened, and then I didn't tell her I peed myself, I just told her I vomited all over myself. But I run home and I tell my husband what happened. I clean myself up, change clothes, and I ask him to take me to the appointment so that I don't have to sit back in my pee in the car and drive there. So yeah, that was an interesting event. And since then it has happened several more times where I sneeze and it's just, here come the floodgates. And it's happened at work once, and that was just, I'm a nanny, so if their mom isn't coming home soon, I'm just out of luck. So yeah, I won't go into details of that one, but as you can probably imagine, it was a very inconvenient event. Next on the list, I have mild back and hip pain. My back can hurt here and there. Sometimes I have a few minutes where it hurts really bad and I get over it, but hip pain, if I sit crisscross applesauce, like with my legs crossed for too long, or if I sit on the floor for too long, my hips, when I try to get up, my hips will hurt really, really, really bad for a few minutes, and I'll have to kind of work it out and let it go. I get chiropractic adjustments maybe, I said I was gonna do it like every week, but I haven't been. I've done it, I should say, like once a month ish, and it definitely does help. Here's another one that's kind of gross. Not really gross. I don't know. If you think vaginas are gross, then this will probably be gross to you. But I had what I think was a varicose vein or a hemorrhoid in my vaginal vulvar area. Okay, so here's the vulva, which is the entrance to the vagina, and then you have labia on each side of it, the labia minora, the pink labia, or lips like people call it. And here's the vulva. It was right here to the left on my in there, and I didn't know there was a vein there at all. It was just, I was very, very tender down there. Like, even wiping was extremely uncomfortable, and sex was just unbearable. So I was in a lot of pain for a really long time. This has been happening since I was very first pregnant, and I just kind of had enough, and I was like, you know what, we're gonna figure out what's going on here. So I lubed my hand up with coconut oil, and keep in mind, I did not know it was a vein at this time. I just knew I had very bad pain down there. So I lube up my hand, and I find the spot where it hurts down there, which was kind of inside the labia to the left, and I kind of put pressure on it and kind of rub it, and it hurt like heck, but I could tell if I could kind of rub it and kind of work it out, it would feel better after I did it. So I kept on doing that. I lubed up my hand even more so that there was zero friction, and I kind of rubbed that area, and a lump starts to kind of come to the surface. And you don't want to feel a lump on any of your lady parts, breasts, anything. You don't want to feel lumps. So I kind of suppressed the urge to freak out, and I just kept rubbing. And as I kept rubbing, I realized that that lump was a humongous swollen vein, and that must be what was causing, like, blood was pooling in that vein, obviously. So I kept on rubbing it, and after a few minutes, the pain had subsided so much, and the vein had shrunken a whole lot. I could feel it shrinking under my hand. So basically what I think happened was the blood was pooling in that vein, which I think you call that a varicose vein. Maybe it's a hemorrhoid. I don't know what to call it. It was just a very swollen vein. So I think rubbing that area got the circulation back going, and I haven't had any pain since, and that was weeks ago. So yeah, that was one of the other biggest struggles that I've been having in this second trimester, and that I kind of solved myself. So yeah, if any of you guys are having this issue, it might be a vein down there for you as well. I never would have thought that there was just a vein that had too much blood in it down there, and that's what was causing me so much agony. So yeah, I'm glad I decided to explore my body. I know not everybody's comfortable with that, but I was desperate and in pain, so I explored my body. And the last thing I have on here is a positive thing, because I wanted to end this on kind of a positive note, because like I said, it could come off as a very pessimistic video. I've been feeling very, very strong baby movements, and actually he just kicked. As I said that, it was a soft one, kind of down low, but sometimes he kicks really, really hard, and the kicks are unmistakable at this point, of course, because I'm almost to the third trimester. And I think if I wasn't so overweight, if there wasn't such a thick layer of fat between baby and me, I could see it from the outside. I think I would be able to see his kicks from the outside at this point if I wasn't so overweight. So that's really exciting. And my husband has put his ear to my belly and been able to hear the baby's heartbeat, and he says he can tell the difference between my heartbeat and the baby's, because mine is very, very much slower than the baby's, which is consistent. Like, my heartbeat should be a whole lot slower than the baby's. So I really do think he has been hearing the baby's heartbeat when he puts his ear to my belly. He hasn't felt the baby move yet, because like a lot of you guys already know, as soon as you tell your husband to come put your hand on your belly, the baby's gonna stop moving, and that's been our experience. So he hasn't felt the baby move, but he says he has heard the baby's heartbeat, which he really enjoys. So thank you so much for watching, you guys. Thank you for being on this journey with me. I'm really sorry that I've gone MIA and stopped talking about my pregnancy, and I wanted to give you guys a little something, so I just did this retrospective of everything that you've missed. And also follow me on Instagram. There will be a link down below in the description box, but if you just search Eating Elephants, I should come up. It's a picture of me and my husband on the profile picture. So please do that. And thanks for watching How Do You Eat an Elephant? One bite at a time. Bye bye.